And here comes 2 coming into position. You can always tell a Su-25 at full throttle from the smoke. There he goes. Smoke went away, so he's throttling back and just sliding into a good position off my right wing. We've got another 105 kilometers. Okay, there's tally armor off of those Sukhoi 24s again. Bullseye 328 for 28. And I guess Bullseye 330 for 30 is the call now. And what that means, and well, what I'm going to do is hit left Alt B. That's going to bring up the briefing map. And this didn't used to pause the simulation, but it does now. And at the bottom of the map, you see the little concentric circles, the red concentric circles below the target area. That's the bullseye. So when I get a call, for example, 330 for 30, I just go bearing 330 off of that location for 30 kilometers in this case, and that's where that call is referring to. I, of course, am up at the top of the map, still to the north of the Caucasus, out there coming up on Vladikavkaz, out just to my left. So let me unpause it. Yeah, there's the airfield out there. I believe that's Nauchik. It didn't say on the map, but I believe that's Nauchik airfield right there, and Vladikavkaz is, yeah, just out there off my nose. Yeah, right before we get to the Caucasus. Okay, and I'm just leveling off now, approaching the Caucasus. I got a little bit higher than I intended, I guess. I was going to stay just below the clouds, but I couldn't help myself. It's just so neat coming up here and getting into these, and there's 2 right back there. I've sort of had 2 going through that cloud bank unintentionally. So we're just sort of picking our way through here as we have the range out in front of us. And the airfield at Nauchik back there to the left. And RWR contacts, well, behind me at this point. And we're about 62 kilometers from the first steer point. And then from there it's another, I think, 30 or 40 kilometers to the target area. And continuing on, entering the Caucasus, as we still have 141 out there taking care of what he needs to take care of. 2 still out there to my right, and we're coming up the pass, just taking the road straight up from Vladikavkaz. And well, I stand corrected. I thought I was on a different pass. Maybe the main road is over there to the right. Yeah, I think it is. Goes up there to the right, and then there's a pass up here somewhere that's pretty common. I know there were a couple of other A10 single missions that were, yeah, I think right out there to my right is where the one called Caesar is held, and then there's another one that has you going like the Serpent's Head and the Serpent's Tail, that has us going, I think, down like directly the opposite direction we're going right now, back out there to the town. So I'm just going to sort of pick my way through here. This is about as high as I really need to go. And just looking around here, admiring Starway's textures up here on the mountains. They look really, really nice. And, I mean, that's, even in VR, probably the external views will be even nicer once I get around to recording those. I'm sure it'll be a sight to see. I hope it is, and I hope the external views for this one especially make it okay, and that I don't desync, as sometimes happens. And okay, looking out there into the Tskhinvali area out there, I can see the green coming up as we come down over the highest part here. Just looking out for anything that I can see out there on the horizon, and yeah, it's a little bit too far out, I think, under the best circumstances to spot anything at that distance. Okay, so let me start to think about where I am and where I'm going here. Coming up on the steer point, and that's just a touch to the left at 6 kilometers, close enough not to even matter. So I'm just going to go left control tilde. It's going to step to the next steer point. That's another, okay, it's a little further than I thought, I guess, 50 kilometers, which, well, isn't really that far at all. So left-hand turn, and that's just going to be just beyond the peaks up here once we get into the valley. And I can see what I think is Tskhinvali up there, just a little bit over the peak. You can see some trees starting to come into view. Okay, so let's see here. Let's go for air-to-ground mode, and that's keyboard 7. And I've got, by default here, I have the missiles, the KH-25 selected. I think if I do anything here, I'm going to Yeah, I think that's going to be my plan, is to lead off with the missiles if I can. If not, I'll switch to CBU. Okay, looking out there, I've got Tskhinvali in sight. It looked like some little flares out there, possibly those Su-25s out there dispensing countermeasures. It's gone now, but I had something definitely visible. Okay, before I forget it, let me manage my flight a little bit. Let's go flight and formation. That's going to be F9. And let's go trail F3. Okay, there it is again. It just sort of, yeah, that looks like a flare of some sort. That's, I don't know, I have to get a little bit closer to be able to see. But, okay, thinking about where I want to hold, I'll duck down here. This is a pretty good looking place. This little valley to the right to hold. Oh, that's puzzling me. I bet that's, in the briefing it said that the Peacekeepers compound was under attack and on fire. That could be, I bet that's, yeah, I think I do see some smokes. I have some real F-16s flying by my window right now. Okay, there it goes again. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it's the little flare effect that you get sometimes when certain buildings, the civilian type buildings, are on fire. Yeah, I am going to take it around here to the right and just scope the area out. Okay, so I've got Tskhinvali in sight. That's exactly where you see all that action happening. I've got something, it looked like something just exploded out there. I just saw a plume. So I don't know if any other aircraft are in the area. I haven't seen anything that would lead me to believe that. Okay, looking out there beyond Tskhinvali. Okay, so I should be expecting the friendly locations this side. I've got Tskhinvali, then the two little urban patches on this side is where the friendlies are. So beyond that, it's fair game up to the outskirts of the Tskhinvali town itself. Okay, there goes the flare popping again. And let me go ahead and turn back up the RWR volume just a little bit. Okay, there we go. And still nothing there that's really concerning me. It's just off to my right that I have the contact. Okay, so nothing so far that I can distinguish. Okay, I see targets out there. Just the other side, if you see the water feature out there on the far end of the valley, just this side of the water feature, about halfway between that water feature and Tskhinvali, 4 targets. Actually, just looks like a little group of targets right there. More than 4, I guess, to quote a movie. Okay, so let me come on around and I'll just sort of work my way in. I don't want to rush in. Okay, let me just sort of refresh myself on countermeasures. Okay, so I know that I have it set up so that if I go to the left on the little switch I'm looking at right now, it's the countermeasure switch on my stick. If I go to the left of that, I'll just have it dispense automatically. Forward is flare, aft is chaff. Okay, yeah, that place is definitely taking fire. Possibly artillery rounds or something going in on it. Okay, so yeah, I've definitely got a group of vehicles beyond, out there towards that water feature on the horizon. I think there are actually 2 groups of vehicles, one just beyond Tskhinvali. Oh yeah, that just popped into view brilliantly for me. That's a big formation right there in that light patch that I'm sure you'll be able to see in the external. Okay, that's it. 2 big groups out there. I think that's about all that I need. Okay, well, let's go ahead and do it and do something about this. Okay, I've got a single vehicle just between me and the big group, and just to the right of the other big group. That looks like a first good target for me. Let me go ahead and get the flight in there. Let me have him just go in and engage air defenses if you're able. And let me lead off. Instead of leading off with missiles, I'm going to lead off with CBU. Okay, that was 2 calling unable. I don't think 2 has tally on any of this stuff yet. Okay, well, I think I'm going to be able to go out for this big group I'm looking at right now. And then if I come off the left, I think I'll be okay. And this will just be a run. I think I'll just do a couple of CBUs. Looking back there to the town itself. Yeah, still taking fire on that one location. And this looks like it might be an artillery emplacement. And go ahead and auto-dispense the countermeasures. Just have them going out at like a 2-second interval. Okay, and I'm going to come over here, offset a little bit to the left, still just sort of moving around, not being too predictable. looking around for other things. Okay, there's the target. I'm just going to roll into the right along the main axis right there, and I think if okay, I've got civilian traffic, looks like on the road. I think if I come off right, I'll be okay. Okay, laser designator active. Getting into a cloud, I didn't mean to do that. That's complicating things a little bit, but I think it's still just fine. Let's roll it out. Yeah, I've completely lost contact with those targets. Okay, off to the right. I'll take this group. Plan B, or I think this was Plan A, actually. Okay, so first target. Okay, that's one away. I'm going to bump the nose down, see if I can get one off on this target. Okay, that's ground fire coming up at me as expected. I'm going to come off to the right. Throttles firewalled. Okay, more. That was pretty heavy caliber stuff coming at me just then. Let me brake left. Okay, I've got stuff burning. Okay, those weren't civilian vehicles at all I was seeing. Those were vehicles burning on the road. Okay, 2's definitely got eyes on targets. More fire coming up. Okay, 2, why don't you go ahead and engage air defenses. Okay, I've got a group of vehicles. I'm overflying another one of these groups. Okay, off left. Yeah, there's a compound right there. That might actually be the Peacekeeper's compound that I'm seeing. Okay, laser off before I forget it. More fire from those vehicles right there on the outskirts. So it's a pretty target-rich environment out there right now. Okay, so let me just verify. Okay, I did release my 2 CBUs. They both did come off. So I'm down to the missiles. So I'm going to extend out. I'm going to try. Okay, I still got a good viz on that group that I was on. I think just coming in over the cloud just then, I think that's why I lost them. Okay, I wish I could pick something out a little bit more distinctive right there around Tskhinvali itself. I can't really pick out. Okay, I got 2 fire going in on 2. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, well, I know I've got a good target right there where I just came off of. I didn't see anything burning, so I don't think any of those CBUs were too terribly effective, although it's so hard to tell. Okay, here are the friendlies right down here directly below me. Okay, 2's out there over that target group that I was just at, and that's going to be my target. I'm going to try to get off 2 missiles on this pass. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll out right here. Laser designator, or laser rangefinder and designator in this case, active. I'm just set the reticle right out there, and I'm just going to slew it over as I go to some likely looking targets. I know there was fire coming in from the left, but I like these bigger, bigger targets that I see right down here. It's a little bit twitchy nowadays with the adjustments. It doesn't ground stabilize like it used to. So it's almost like you're just flying the little reticle up to where it needs to go. Okay, I've got a good target right there. I'm going to take this shot as soon as I get the red shoot cue. Okay, 1 missile away. I'm going to see if I can get 2 off. I'll see if I can slew it over to the left after I get the first impact. And okay, 1 impact. 2 impacts. Well, that was kind of a cheesy way to do it right there, I guess. I should have waited a little bit longer before trying to get that second missile off. That almost worked. I know I took a hit right there. I'll do a quick check for any damage. Okay, I've got viz on these guys firing at me. It looked like some BMP type tracers, and is that 2 just down there taking fire at low level? Somebody sure is down there, possibly 2 just below me. Yeah, it looked like some heavier caliber, maybe like a Su-25. That's definitely a Su-25 right down there below me. Okay, let me check back there in my target area. I've got, well, maybe 1 smoking. I don't think I got the quality of hit I was looking for right there. I think the first one was a good hit. I think the second one was a little bit right of target. Okay, 2's contact air defense target. Okay, so, well, I've got 2 missiles remaining. And, well, I hate to be predictable on this. Let me see if there's anywhere else I can go for. I've got a group of targets to the right of that, just there to the right of the town. So I think if I take it out just like this, I know that I've got stuff shooting at me, or will be shooting at me from Tskhinvali itself. I think if I take it out right here, And I don't want to... Okay, I've got another group right here. This is a better idea. Let's go for this group. Okay, that's definitely hostile based on the location. You're right there. Let's go ahead and get a missile off. Just tweak it up to the right. I'm just going to take the one shot this time. This should be pretty darn good on whatever that is that I have. Can't really ID it from here. Okay, hit. And yeah, I have... I blew through my countermeasures really quickly right there. I left the auto dispense going a little bit longer than I really wanted to, I think. Well, not longer than I wanted to. I wanted it to be running like forever and ever and ever, but yeah, I think I sort of lost track of that and blew through all my flare, especially. Okay, 2's running in. This should be interesting. Okay, missile away from 2. I don't have Viz on him. But if he's out there shooting missiles, that's a good sign. Target destroyed off of 2. Okay, good job. You're doing... Well, as far as I can tell, I know I'm getting good hits. I don't know if I'm getting penetration on my hits, because I don't see any smoke coming for any of the stuff that I've been shooting at. Okay, let me go back for my original target group, which is very apparent. That's like the largest group. And fire my remaining missile, and then I'll come off to the left, and I'll extend a little bit further off to the left. This is going to be my last pass. I'll extend a little bit further off to the left than I have been, and then egress back in the opposite direction that I'm flying right now. Okay, so let me come in here. The laser active. Let me just put the reticle down right there. That's a big target right there. That should be something easy to hit. Let's go ahead and get the missile in there. Let me tweak my targeting. Try to. I can't get it to go right. I just couldn't make that work. I don't know. Okay, that's some AAA fire coming up at me, I presume. I'm going to continue to take it down here low. I've got the throttle firewall. And I'm going to try to, as soon as I'm clear, jink a little bit to the left and sort of move it around in the air, just not having a consistent G-load on the aircraft. That's what I mean by jinking in this case, just moving the aircraft around so that any gunner trying to get a bead on you and trying to pull lead and predict where you're going to be in the air is going to be wrong, because you're already a step ahead of them. And just moving the aircraft around and not letting anybody track you. Okay, well, that's it for my weapons, unless something in the air shows up, which I don't think is going to happen. Okay, 2, I think you're done too. Well, either way, I'm going to call you back. Let's go flight. And how do I get him to rejoin? I think it's in the Flaming Cliffs. It's F3. Nope, I need to... Well, let's go for F9. Okay, there we go. It was under formation. Now he's going to rejoin. And I saw there, as I was looking around the menu, we have check-in on the Sukhoi. So that's a step in the right direction there. Now if we could just, yeah, for example, if I go to flight, F10. There we go. If I just want to check on the status, or if I'm in an aircraft where I have different radio communication settings, then I can just do that instead of having to guess or try to get some sort of a canned response through one of the other techniques. Okay, let me go for steer point 1. Okay, there we go. Back on steer point 1, which should be, okay, just out there to my left. Okay, so 2's rejoining. Hopefully he's okay. Now, I did take a hit back there. Let me go ahead and just have a quick look. I don't see anything obviously damaged on my wings. I don't have any caution warnings. And yeah, everything looks just fine as far as I can tell. Let me ease the throttles back in a little bit, as it's easy to get a little bit too fast, especially now that I have all that weight and all that drag off the aircraft. Okay, so let's go ahead and take it around to the left. Is that right? 30 kilometers? Oh, yeah, that's right, because this is steer point 1, and I need to go back to the base steer point, and that's going to be a right-hand turn once I pass this location, and that'll be the leg that'll take me on back. Okay, well, it's really too late to go back and do a BDA or anything. I know for certain that I got some good hits. I'll have to, just using TACVIEW and using external view, show you how close they were, just to make sure I'm not imagining things. And yet sometimes I think these were like the smaller version of those missiles, so it would take, I think, maybe a couple of dead-on hits to completely destroy a tank, or maybe, or I don't know, maybe just one. I think a direct hit with this system, you know, using the reticle, even under the best conditions, is sort of a challenge sometimes. But that'll all be stuff to go over in the debrief. Let me go ahead and select the base steer point. Now it's 150 kilometers, right-hand turn. Back over the Caucasus and back over to Mozdok. And I don't see 2 out there yet, although I am flying kind of fast at a relatively high throttle setting, so he'll catch up here in a second. I know he's okay. Okay, so let me go ahead and get over the Caucasus, relax for a couple of minutes, and I'll be right back.